In 2004, my mom came from work and she told me, get ready. I didn't know why, but I got ready. Where are we going? She told me she's gonna take me and I'm going to a place where I'll be able to draw and participate in artwork. And I love drawing. So I went with her. And what I did actually was meeting someone at that age was the same age as my brother. My brother is 7 years older than me. So I'm 25, he's 32. We are good friends since I became an adult. But when I was younger, that was a different story. But now we are really good friends, like the definition of good friends and brothers. So when I went there to that place that people were drawing in, I met somebody who was the same age as my brother, and he treated me so well, and we became friends instantly. Like, I remember from the first day, he was like very close to me, and he was teaching me things about drawing, about, coloring, everything, and all that. And I was so happy because prior to that, I didn't have any friends at all. So in these years, I found someone outside of my home that was actually treating me so well as a friend and was taking me seriously, taking my opinions seriously. And at that time, I remember we were walking, like he would take me and send me home if my mother didn't come to pick me up. And I remember one time he met one of his friends. Like, we were walking and one of his friends were coming in front of us, and that friend told him, "Is that your brother?" And he didn't hesitate. He said, "Yeah, this is my brother." And I asked him, "Why did you tell him that I'm your brother? Because I'm not." At that time, I remember that he told me that he didn't have brothers, he only had sisters. So he wanted to have a brother all along. At that time, I didn't realize that I was just a kid. 2004, probably I was maximum 6 years old, I guess. Maybe five, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, 6 years old at that time. And excuse all the chaos outside. We are just doing it raw here. So at that time, 6 years old, someone telling him that you are my friend. I consider you a friend, a really good friend, to the point that you are like my brother. And at that time, I didn't realize that I needed that figure in my life because my brother and his friends were, from their point of view, I can't hang out with them because I'm too young, and I get it. They're right in that. So I needed that. So God put me in that place at that time because it was the right thing to do to be here because something was missing. And in order to fill it, I have to be there at that time. So from that time, I was actually friends with them and we became really close. I didn't realize that the blessing at that time would be a curse. At that time, at least. Because everything is temporary, even this life. So, fast forward 3 years. So, we are in 2007. I'm 9 years old. All right? My brother and him all of a sudden faced a tough situation. My brother had to go to have a surgery in his eyes because a wooden thing got in his eye. And I didn't understand at that time, but I locked myself in the hospital room where we waited for him to actually have the surgery. I don't remember anything except closing down everything on me and just sitting there, waiting. That's what I remember. Probably it was a trauma because I was so afraid what could have happened. I was so afraid that something would happen to his eyes. I was so afraid that maybe his eyesight won't be that good. I was so afraid at that time, and I didn't know anything. Just my parents told me that he's gonna go and have a surgery. And in the same year, the friend that I had, that was the same age as my brother, he left the country I'm in and he went to the United States of America. And I didn't actually have the ability to tell him goodbye. And he went there and I couldn't actually reach him. At that time, Facebook wasn't, that popular. And even though we had Facebook accounts, I sent him, messages and all that, but he probably ghosted me. He didn't reply that much. And I didn't see him for years. Like for years. And all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, my brother is at the hospital, and my other friend that I don't know anyone except him, he's my only friend, is gone. And at 9 years old, after a few months, in January of 2008, I believe, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Now I know that people are now, recovering from, and it's becoming, more popular, at least in a region of certain medicine or alternative medicine, that you can actually recover from that and reverse the case. But at that time, I was told that you got that autoimmune disease and you need to take this and this and this, and you need to take that pen, and that pen, take it before eating and all that. And I remember, now I look back and I tell myself, the childhood trauma that I had actually manifested inside of my body as an entity, as a disease. And the disease, I consider him an entity. Like I'm talking to a conscious being inside of me. That imbalance is conscious. It's actually the way of the body telling you that there is something wrong, fix it. So I didn't realize for all these years that what I'm suffering from was because of something in my childhood. Why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that because I don't want you to raise up your children in a way that would make them have a lot of traumas, because these traumas can manifest into their bodies as diseases, as, horrible things. I don't want to mention names, but be careful to your children if you have one, if you are planning to have children at some point in your life, whether you are a teenager now or you are at your 20s like me, or you are in your 30s, 40s, whatever it may be. Focus on not giving your children any trauma. Be careful what they are doing outside. Try to be friends with them, because once you do that, if something happens outside, you can get them, and talk to them. You can talk to them. You can solve it out. Maybe his perception as a child is different than yours. So you can meet at a point where this event, this circumstance, doesn't affect him mentally and emotionally, because at these planes, these can manifest into the body as diseases, and it can be disastrous. I'm not telling you that these diseases can't go away. They can. They can. But in this day and age, with all the medical advice that is so biased towards certain kind of treatments, you would actually go on a route that is not actually related to the problem itself, which can simply be solved when you see a circumstance from another point of view. That's what I'm trying to tell you. A trauma created something that I wish I didn't have. So be careful. If you have any traumas, you can access it. You can reprogram your subconscious mind. You can do whatever you want. But know that this body is a complete system. Everything is connected. All the circumstances affects you. Everything around you. Every single thing that you face can have an effect on you. You choose how it will affect you. If I knew back then that this is a trauma and I need to figure it out, I wouldn't have been, with that disease at all. Thankfully, now I know that when you solve the root cause of something, you will solve whatever manifested because of it. So here is what I want you to do. Be careful to your traumas. Try to rediscover them, because they might be the reason that you are facing some difficulties in your life. So that's it for today.